Hello everybody, welcome back this week for another video. I hope you've all had fantastic weeks. I know for me this week's been a bit more of a chilled back week, a bit more relaxing, so I've enjoyed it. Now before I tell you about this week's video and what more into depth for what 30 by 30 means, I just want to go back onto last week's video and thank everybody for the support and feedback that you've given me. For some reason in my head I didn't really plan of doing a video which is the absolute basics of kidney disease, as for me in my head I'm just thinking my audience is probably just going to be other people with kidney disease that want to know about my story so they can compare it to their own. I didn't really plan for people that might not even know anything about kidney disease and want to gain an interest in it. So I appreciate the feedback and the suggestion in the first place. And if you guys have any more suggestions, please leave them in the comments below or inbox me on Twitter and Facebook, and I can definitely get a video involved with it. But anyway, moving on to this week's video. So what is 30 by 30? So basically it's some sort of trend that goes on YouTube, and what it essentially means is like a bucket list. It's 30 things you would like to have tried, accomplished or done by the time you are 30. Now for some of you that might know, might not know, I am at the moment of recording this video, I am 22 years old. Almost 23, so that gives me about 7.5 years before I am 30. So I'm going to write a list, or give a list here, of 30 things I would like to have accomplished by the time I'm 30. And then later down the line, in a few years time, we can review this and see what we have completed so far. So now that I've explained that, let's move on to the video. So here we are, let's start with number 1. Now the first thing I've written down is I would have liked to have at least travelled once outside of Europe by the time I'm 30. Throughout my life at the moment, in the first 22 years of my life, I have never left Europe. The furthest I've ever travelled is to Cyprus, and that was to visit my family there. Now ideally, if there's somewhere specific outside of Europe I'd like to go, it has to be America. Either New York, Florida or LA, Los Angeles. They are the 3 ideal places I would like to visit outside Europe by the time I'm 30. Now number 2 is to have my own home, or at least to have moved out from my mum's house. Now me and my girlfriend are currently saving up for our own place, and we're hoping, if everything goes well, by summer next year we might be able to afford our own place. But it's something I would 100% like to have done by the time I'm 30 at least. And number 3 is monetize YouTube. Now I know you guys have heard me say in previous videos that because of my health and my situation at the moment, in an ideal world and in my dream world, I would like to be able to make an income off my Twitch and my YouTube. Now to be able to monetize YouTube, there are certain requirements you have to meet. I remember one of them off the top of my head is to at least hit 1,000 subscribers. There is another one which is based on the amount of watch time you have per month. So that's everyone who watches your videos, every second that they watch adds on to your total watch time. So as long as I can try and monetize YouTube by the time I'm 30, that would be amazing. Moving on to number 4, I would have liked to visit Disneyland or Disney World, either of them. Now if I'm going to achieve this, the most ideal one that is most doable would be to visit Disneyland Paris. Now, me myself personally, I'm not a huge fan of Disney, but I know my girlfriend's a massive one. But I do know that in Disneyland and Disney World, they do have other franchises based on their grounds. Like, I know there's some with Avengers based on, which I'm quite a big Avengers fan. And regardless if you're a Disney fan or not, it's just one of those things you would like to have at least done once within your lifetime. So I'm writing it here at my 30 before 30, as it would be even better if I could accomplish this by the time I'm 30. So number 5, we've got raise at least £5,000 for charity. Now, as you know, I mentioned last week, and I've been posting all over my socials, I am planning a charity stream at the moment for kidney care and kidney research. And that's going to be a 12-hour live stream on August the 20th. My target for that one is £1,000. I set that as the benchmark, as realistically, I've never done anything like this before, so I don't really know what to expect. Even if we hit £100, £200, that would be amazing. But I thought I'd set something that's a bit challenging, as I'm guessing you're aware now the £1,000 forfeit is to shave my head. And that's not something I would ideally like to do, but if it's for a good cause, I'd absolutely do it with no hesitation. So £1,000 is a bit of a hard target to hit, so it makes it fair to shave my head if we do ever hit that. Now the 5,000 for charity, it's not just for the charities I'm doing this current live stream for. It's for any charities at all, as I know there's other charities I'd like to raise money for in the future. So I'd just like to raise £5,000 in total for charities in general. Number 6, we got run a 10k. Now when I was younger, I used to be much more athletic and much more sporty than I currently am. A large portion of this is due to my health, that I wasn't able to keep up with the sport and fitness I used to do. But nowadays I could run to the end of my street and I'd be out of breath and absolutely knackered. So my plan is to try and build up my fitness over time and manage to be able to run a 10k by the time I'm 30. I do have a plan for a mini series to do on this channel, which is a couch to 5k. It's like a mini course you do over time, where 3 days a week you go on runs, and the routine you take on each of these runs slowly gets harder and harder. So gradually over the course of about 8 to 10 weeks, I think it is, forgive me if I'm wrong, you should theoretically be able to run a 5k by the time that finishes. So I'm planning to do this and try and record it as like a mini series on this channel, and we can see how my fitness improves over that time. Now number 7 is a pretty big stretch, but I'd like to have a few more challenging ones in there, just to try and challenge myself. So number 7 is to have my own business / clothing line or merchandise. Or merch, depending on how you call it. At the moment, I'm slowly building up a community, especially over on Twitch with my Blur Statics alias. And I'd eventually like to at some point start creating some merch or a bit of a clothing line. And then for those people who know me, I'm very big into my hoodies and my joggers, so I'd love to be able to just make a load of different styled hoodies and joggers I can wear all the time. So during school and stuff, I was massively into my geography, and I was always told about the northern lights that you're able to see, normally from like Finland or the Scandinavian countries. And from the pictures that you see and the videos you see, it just looks absolutely stunning. So I'd love to be able to at least visit this one time by the time I'm 30. Number 9's kind of out of my control, but I would love for this to be able to come true. So I've written down for number 9 to have stable health and that all my bloods are within an ideal range. Now there's only so much I can do to keep control of this, which is diet, drinking plenty of water, but then there's other things that stop me from maintaining this. So I'd love to be able to just have a stable, balanced health and lifestyle and no worries about extra appointments, treatments, or operations. Number 10 is do at least 5 charity streams. Now this kind of blends in with the earlier one where I said I'd like to raise at least £5,000 for charities. I'm 100% after August's charity stream. I'm going to keep up with charity streams fairly frequently on my channel. Now some of these are going to be for kidney related charities, some of these may not, but I'd at least try and like to do 5 charity streams by the time I'm 30. At least ones of a big scale like this one. Okay, number 11 is an absolutely huge one too, but people got a dream, right? So for number 11, I've written be on TV, whether that's through an interview or anything else. As I'm trying to use my platform to help raise more awareness for kidney disease and things like that, I'd love to be able to be invited to an interview on TV where I can help try and put my message across more nationally. That way we can reach more people with our message about kidney disease, and hopefully it can get more recognised around at least the country for now. Number 12, I've got get out of my lazy mind frame. Now growing up as a teenager, most teenagers are lazy. I know we all were, I was, you probably were, admit it. But now I'm in my 20s and I'm a lot more independent. I need to start learning how to get out of my lazy mind frame. Like when I was a teenager, there was things that I wouldn't be able to differentiate between whether I was too unwell to do it because of my health or whether it was out of pure laziness. Now I want to try and get out of that mind frame and be able to try and do as much as I can. Unless my health is really bad, then I can understand that if I can't do it. Now number 13, some of you are probably going to think, that's not that hard to do. You can easily go and do that as soon as possible. Well, I'll explain it more now. So number 13, I've got written down, be able to go swimming again. Now, the reason this one's might be a bit of a challenge is because at the moment, because of my neckline for plasma exchanges, I'm unable to go swimming with this for as long as I've got it in at least. So ideally, I would like to be able to be line free completely, so I can feel comfortable in my own body again and be able to go swimming again without any risks. Now, the last time I went swimming was before I was even on dialysis, and that was 2017, I want to say. So I can't wait to be able to go swimming again. Number 14, I've got learn how to cook at least 10 different recipes or meals. At the moment, I'm very selected and very minimal on what meals I can make. Usually your spag balls, your bolognese meals, and stuff I can just bang in the oven. But I'd like to be able to broaden my cooking skills and be able to cook at least 10 unique recipes by the time I'm 30. Now for number 15, I've got have my own office. This can be whether it's in our new home when we get it, or if I have a separate office. Now I'd like to have my own office space for streaming, recording, as at the moment you can obviously tell I'm in my bedroom and it's not very exciting trying to balance my workload and my rest in the same room, and sometimes it makes it harder to switch off. So I'd love to be able to have my own separate space to be able to work and stream from. Number 16, I've got be financially independent. Now at the moment, because of my health, I am on benefits. This is because I am unwell enough to be able to keep a consistent job running, as I wouldn't be unreliable with the fluctuations in my health at the moment, and I may just not have the energy quite yet to be able to commit to a job. So I'd love to be able to get to a situation where I'm not having to worry about that. I have my own source of income and it's doing something I absolutely love, which at the moment is making these videos and doing my streaming. Now number 17 is kind of a funny one, to be honest. I thought I'd just add in there. I've written down broaden my clothing choice. Now, as I mentioned before with the clothing line one, all I pretty much wear is hoodies and joggers. This is just because I find them just comfortable, and I'd only wear something casual or smart casual if I have a reason to go out. I also tend to just stick to my blacks, whites and greys when I get dressed and choose my clothing. This is because I find it just easy to be able to match black, white and grey clothing together. Whereas if you start introducing colours, it becomes very hard to match. Now recently I have started adding a bit extra colour to my clothing, but I could do with a bit more, to be honest. Number 18, I've got go to an event / convention, whether that's TwitchCon or something that's health related, maybe even kidney related in the future. Somewhere that I can go meet other people in the same background as me, whether it's through the streaming, through health. It's just a unique experience that I've not been able to experience before, and it's something I'd love to be able to do. Number 19, I've got collaborate with more Twitch streamers and YouTubers. Now, I've slowly started to introduce that when I'm live streaming on Twitch. I'm starting to play with other streamers out there. This YouTube channel, I'd love to be able to start collaborating with other YouTubers. That's definitely something we can look at down the line. The reason collaborating is so important, as it allows two separate people's audiences to merge together, and then your audience can go and visit that person, maybe exchange followers, subscribers, and it allows you to both grow together. Number 20 is to start making plans about having children. Now, I don't want children for a while yet, and there's a certain few things I'd like to do before I have children. One of these things is to see a genetics specialist, as we don't actually know the reason why I have my kidney disease or my FSGS. So I'd love to be able to get tested before I even commit to anything like that, just to make sure my children wouldn't have the same experience that I've had. Moving on to number 21, I've got be partnered on Twitch. Now, believe it or not, I'm not actually too far away from this. The only one thing that I have to commit and manage to reach is to hit 75 concurrent viewers. Now at the moment, mine is nowhere near that, I'll admit that now. But over time, we could probably build up an audience and eventually reach that point. Hopefully by the time I'm 30. If you guys would like to help towards this, make sure you make a Twitch channel if you haven't, or if you have, that's brilliant. But if you haven't, it's absolutely free. Just make a Twitch channel and visit twitch.tv/blurstatics. I'll leave it down here now. Make sure you click the follow button, and even if you're busy but you're able to, if you can even have the stream open whilst you go on about your day, that even massively helps and would be able to help us reach this target. For number 22, I've written down, have someone recognise me that I don't already know. Now by this I just mean if I'm walking on the street and someone recognises from my streaming or my YouTube videos, I think having that experience and that interaction with someone who looks up to me in that way, it would be such a mind-blowing and amazing experience that I would love to be able to have that happen at least once by the time I'm 30. For number 23, I've got have my teeth sorted and straightened. Now when I was growing up, I did have braces because my teeth weren't straight, and I had them in for about 3 to 4 years. Now after that I had to wear like an Invisalign every time I went to bed. But at the time of this I must have been about 13 or 14, and stubborn young me, shall I say, couldn't manage the medication I had at the time and to do this. So I just stopped wearing it, which was a big mistake, as my teeth have kind of gone back to how they were. And because of my kidney disease and the medication I do take, it doesn't help the situation at all. So I'd love to be able to pay to get my teeth whitened and straightened. Number 24, I've got write a book about my life. Now this is something I did consider about a year ago, as I thought it was a unique experience that people might be interested in. I'll be able to write details and pick up on every detail that I've had throughout my life, especially during my kidney disease phase. And I feel like, I would hope that people might be interested in it. At that time, I felt a bit overwhelmed with doing it, and that's when I started to think about doing these YouTube videos. As you know, one of the first videos I posted on this channel was my story with kidney disease, or with nephrotic syndrome. So if you guys go back on my channel, you might be able to see that video if you are interested in my story. But I'd love to be able to write this in more detail and in book form, so I can put it out there for people to read. For number 25, I've written take more photos and videos of my life, as this is definitely a mistake I've made in the past. In some of my previous videos when I've gone back through my kidney disease, there's certain aspects or stages in that life that I wish I had more footage or videos or pictures of, so I could put them into these videos, especially during my time during dialysis. I've gone back through all my photos and I don't think I have one single picture whilst I was on dialysis, or even of the dialysis machine. So I'd love to be able to keep updated and take more photos and pictures of my life going on forward. Now number 26 is put on some more weight / muscle. I think mainly due to my medication, I don't have that big of an appetite, and I'm just not fit enough to be able to maybe go to the gym or go on runs to build up my muscle mass. So I'd love to be able to get to a point where I am fit enough or well enough to be able to do this, as I feel like I'm pretty underweight for my height and age at the moment. Number 27, I've written learn to play an instrument. Now this is something I've dabbled into in the past, but I've never just had the full focus and determination to be able to stick to it. When I was really young, I attempted to learn how to play the drums, but that didn't last. A few years ago, I learned how to play the guitar, but that lasted about a month and then I gave up on that. So I'd love to be able to just have the physical determination to be able to start learning an instrument without giving up on it. For number 28, I've got learn a new language. Now I think being able to communicate with people that I wouldn't normally be able to communicate with in English, I feel like that would be such a cool experience. It would help for when we go on holiday, or just to communicate with people from different cultures. Now my girlfriend has started to learn BSL, which is British Sign Language, and I have been picking up things off her, so maybe that's something I could try and pursue. And I feel like it would benefit people massively if it was more well known within the country. For number 29, I've got be a guest on more podcasts. Now, a few of you might know that a couple months ago, I was actually on a podcast of some old school friends of mine, and I just really enjoyed that experience. I loved how people were interested in my life, and I'd love to be able to tell my story on people's platforms if they're willing to accept it. And I feel like podcasts in today's society are just so important and so interesting that I'd love to be able to take part in more podcasts. And last but not least, number 30, I've got buy my own car. Now at the moment I drive a 70 Reg Golf 8. If you don't know what one of those looks like, I'll put a picture up here now. Whilst it's a really nice car and I absolutely love it, unfortunately it's not actually bought by me. It is a Motability car, which is what I get for being on the benefits I'm on and because of my health, as I need that mode of transport to be able to help me to and from hospital. Now I can use it for whatever reason, and it does feel like it's my own car, as it's no different from someone else having their own car and finance. But the thought of being able to have my own physical car and know I can call it mine is something I would absolutely love to be able to have. So yeah, that's my 30 before 30. Now thank you for everyone who's stuck around to this point and still watching at this moment, as I know this is probably the longest video I've done at the moment, but I appreciate your interest and sticking along with me. Now we're probably going to revisit this video in maybe like a couple years and see how many of these 30 we've managed to accomplish. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and got some sort of motivation from it also, as things you might want to experience before you're 30, or if you're above 30 it might be something you just want to experience at some point. Now I'm going to leave a link to the donation page for my charity stream, which you can donate now. The more we raise now before the stream, the more forfeits are guaranteed to happen on the stream. So if you are able to donate now, that'll be hugely appreciated. I'll leave that in the top link down below. If you just scroll down, you should be able to see it. But once again, thank you so much for watching this week. I appreciate your interest. If you haven't already, click the like and subscribe button. Let's see how much we can grow this channel. Take care for now, and I'll see you all next week. Goodbye.